Your phone buzzes in your pocket. You feel it before you hear it. Your hand is already moving before you've decided anything at all. You tell yourself you'll just check it for a second. But the real answer for why you do this is far stranger than willpower or addiction or bad habits. It starts almost 3 million years ago, long before screens, long before electricity, long before anyone had a reason to check anything. Your ancestors lived inside a world made entirely of uncertainty. Where was the water this season? Did the herd move north or south? Was that rustle in the grass wind or something with teeth? Every piece of new information could mean the difference between eating and starving, between safety and death. So your brain evolved a very specific reward for noticing change, not for finding the answer, for looking. This is the part most people get backwards. You'd assume your brain rewards you when you find what you're searching for. It doesn't. Not really. The neuroscientist Wolfram Schultz discovered something strange while studying dopamine in the 1990s. Dopamine doesn't spike when a reward arrives. It spikes in anticipation, in the gap between expecting something and getting it. And it spikes hardest when the outcome is uncertain. Read that again. Uncertain, not guaranteed. A predictable reward barely registers. A coin flip you might win lights your brain up like a switchboard. Your ancestors needed this. The world wasn't giving out guaranteed outcomes. It was giving out maybes. Maybe there's fruit over that ridge. Maybe that sound is dangerous. Maybe today is the day the hunt succeeds. A brain wired to crave maybe was a brain that kept checking, kept scanning, kept moving toward information instead of sitting still in ignorance. Stillness to your ancestors was often a death sentence. So evolution built you a checking machine, a mind that treats unresolved uncertainty as something almost physically uncomfortable, something that has to be resolved by looking. For 200,000 years, that machine had nothing to feed it except wind, shadows, footprints, and silence. Then, within the span of about 15 years, someone handed it a device that produces maybe on command, instantly, infinitely, in your pocket. The anthropologist Natasha Schull spent years embedded inside casinos studying slot machine design, and what she found has almost nothing to do with luck and almost everything to do with rhythm. Slot machines aren't built to reward you often. They're built to almost reward you constantly. 2 cherries next to a third that just misses. A near win that keeps your hand moving back to the lever. Schull called the state this produces the machine zone, a kind of trance where the player isn't even chasing the jackpot anymore. They're chasing the next pull. Now think about your phone. Every time you unlock it, you're pulling a lever. Maybe there's a message. Maybe there isn't. Maybe someone liked the thing you posted. Maybe no one has yet. You don't know until you check, and not knowing is exactly the feeling your dopamine system was built to chase. B.F. Skinner proved this with pigeons almost a century ago. He found that animals rewarded on a random, unpredictable schedule pressed a lever far more compulsively than animals rewarded every single time. He called it the variable ratio reinforcement schedule. It is, to this day, the most powerful behavioral pattern psychology has ever documented for producing compulsive checking. Your phone runs on the exact same schedule. Not because someone copied Skinner's pigeons on purpose, though some designers have admitted exactly that. It's because variable reward is simply the most effective lever ever discovered for keeping a brain hooked on looking, and your brain came pre-installed with the wiring to fall for it. Here's the part that should unsettle you a little. You are not weak for checking your phone 40, 60, 100 times a day. You are running ancient software on hardware it was never designed for. Your ancestors checked the horizon a handful of times a day, because the horizon could only change a handful of times a day. Your phone can change every second. The system that once kept early humans alert and alive is now bombarded with thousands of artificial maybes a day, each one small, each one just enough to spike that anticipatory dopamine, each one resolved just fast enough to ask for one more look. So why can't you just put it down? Why does the silence of a phone with no notifications feel almost worse than a phone that's buzzing? Because unresolved uncertainty is the most uncomfortable state your brain knows how to sit in. An empty notification screen isn't peace to an ancient nervous system, it's an unanswered question. And your ancestors' brains were never built to leave a question unanswered for long. Because out on the savannah, unanswered questions were how you got eaten. This is also why scrolling feels almost impossible to stop once it starts. Each swipe is a fresh pull on the lever. Each new post is a fresh maybe. There is no natural stopping point because your ancestors never had a feed that ended. There was always more horizon to scan. Researchers studying smartphone use have repeatedly found that most checking episodes aren't triggered by an actual notification at all. They're triggered by nothing, by a small flicker of restlessness that used to mean go look around, and still does. Except now looking around means a screen instead of a tree line. None of this means you're broken. It means you're an extremely well-calibrated survival machine, operating in an environment that didn't exist for 99.9% of human history. The same circuitry that once kept a hunter-gatherer alive by rewarding vigilance is now being pulled again and again by a glass rectangle that was engineered, consciously or not, to exploit exactly that reward. Knowing this doesn't make the pull disappear, but it does change what the pull means. It isn't a character flaw. It's a few 100,000 years of finely tuned survival instinct, reacting to a stimulus it was never built to resist. So tonight, when your phone buzzes in the dark and your hand moves before your mind has caught up, notice it. Not with guilt, with recognition. That's not a weak version of you reaching for distraction. That's an ancient hunter-gatherer brain, still scanning the horizon, still looking for the rustle in the grass, still trying to keep you alive in a world that stopped needing it to.